despiertos? So. Well,
Más o menos.
we have some margaritas. Tenemos algunas margaritas y algunos cocktails. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to the Jeep stand. My name is Ariel Gavilán. I'm head of Hispanic, International, and Mopar Communications. Mi nombre es Ariel Gavilán. Soy responsable de la marca Mopar, Hispana y Comunicaciones Internacionales. Y es un placer darles la bienvenida al stand Jeep para presentarles el Jeep Nacho concept. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the Jeep stand to introduce you the Jeep Nacho concept. Y les voy a dar solo dos datos que me parece que son importantes compartir con ustedes. El primero es que los usuarios o los consumidores del Jeep Wrangler invierten en promedio $1,000 por vehículo que compran. Hay algunos que invierten más, otros que invierten menos, pero en promedio $1,000. So, average Wrangler customers is one of the most customized vehicles in the world, spend about $1,000 per vehicle. Some a little bit more or a lot more when you go to the Rubicon Trail, for instance, and some of them less, but on average $1,000. So that's the first fact. El segundo punto que me gustaría remarcar es que aquí, en la región sudeste de los Estados Unidos, donde estamos, obviamente la Florida es el estado principal, es la región número 1 en términos de ventas de accesorios para la marca Mopar. Lo repito, es la región número 1 en términos de venta de accesorios para la marca Mopar. So the Southeast is the number 1 region for us, at least in Mopar, in terms of selling accessories. So, con estos dos puntos, tiene sentido totalmente presentar el Jeep Nacho Concept aquí en el show de Miami, porque le demuestra a nuestros consumidores el arte de lo posible en cuanto a accesorización del Jeep Wrangler. So, with those 2 points in mind, it makes perfect sense for us to bring the Jeep Nacho Concept here to the Miami Auto Show, because it showcases to customers the art of the possible in terms of accessorization. Bom dia. I forgot Portuguese for you. Sorry about that. So with that, I'd like to introduce Nico Vardis, who is our Mopar designer based in Auburn Hills, Michigan. Nico?
Thank you, Ariel. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. My name is Nico Vardis. I'm the Mopar design manager, and I'm going to walk you through the Nacho Wrangler concept that we have here. I say concept, but a lot of the parts on this vehicle, 80% of these parts are available today. So if you buy a two-door Rubicon Wrangler, you can basically customize the vehicle to look exactly like this. So I'm going to take you through from tip to tail of all the accessories that we designed and engineered for this vehicle. So up front, we have the steel Rubicon front bumpers, and they're made of steel to take the abuse off-road. We call these the stubby bumpers because the winglets are removed to add an aggressive approach angle and departure angle on the vehicle. To give you that added clearance for off-road capability. Up front, as you get closer later on, you notice that it has a signature black grille up front, and that identifies JPP, Jeep Performance Parts. Also on the steel Rubicon bumper, we have a 2-inch brush guard, and we have some off-road lighting that's mounted to the brush guard. And we co-developed those lights with the lighting division at Magneti Marelli. So it was a wonderful project to work with in collaboration with them to give that customer an extra forward lighting in the trails to get them home safely if they're stuck out in the trails in the evening. Also, you notice there's a conceptual hood. We're working very hard to try to get this to market. But it has a hood bulge and heat extractors on the side of the hood, and that is for getting the hot air out of the engine bay. So again, everything we do at Jeep Performance Parts and Design, we work closely with engineers to make sure everything is absolutely functional, and my job is to make sure that it's seamlessly integrated into the product. So there's nothing that's out of place, and all the parts are really designed within the walls of the product design studio. So we have access to all the Wrangler engineers and along with our Mopar engineers to make sure everything is absolutely seamless. Also, to round off the hood, there's a satin black JPP gear graphic. So that's some of the stuff that we have fun with in the design office to give it some character and some excitement. One other thing I want to notice, as you come around the vehicle later, we have a cold air intake that feeds the 2-liter turbocharged engine. So again, all these things are very functional and very appropriate for the car. As we work back here, you'll notice there's a A-pillar light. So you have 2 up front, you need additional lighting. I mean, you cannot stand in front of this thing when all the lights are fired up. There's a JPP bracket there that holds these prism style A-pillar lights. And also through the windshield, there's a highly integrated header lamp, and there's additional lighting that goes through the windshield, and it's seamlessly integrated to the header there. And as we walk towards the body side, you'll notice that the vehicle is elevated 4 inches in total. And again, to maximize approach angles, to maximize the breakover of the vehicle and get you through the rough terrain. So 2 inches comes from the JBP lift kit. 2 more additional inches come from the 37-inch tires. And they're wrapped around a 17-inch beadlock wheel. And that beadlock wheel locks into the bead of the tire, so you can air down the tires to approximately 13-15 psi to get added traction on the trails. So it's again a very functional element to this design. Also down low we have a rock rail to protect the body, and our JPP rock rail is slightly larger in cross-sectional diameter. And it gives you actually a step along with protection to the body. You notice the color is pretty bright. This is a Nacho color. This is a special color. Only 100 of these examples exist. So it was available at the launch of the Wrangler. So it's a very special color. For a very special color, we got creative with it, and we came up with a really cool name. Along the side here, we called it Nacho, and we had a bunch of fun in the studio. And we had a Nacho chip, and it's broken off, so just tons of fun we have in the studio to just liven up this. You have such a special color, and we wanted to make sure that we sent that message really strongly. The vehicle, as you see it, has an open air fill, and a lot of that open air fill comes from these cool 2-inch tube doors. That give you this really an open air freedom kind of feel. I refer to these things as bank vault doors because they're absolutely solid and rugged. And also, it's really cool. You have a tremendous amount of visibility when you're in the cabin, when you're off-roading. You can see the rocks, you can see the trail, you can see everything. It's a really cool feature. Also on the interior, there's an integrated aux bank switch, and that aux bank switch activates all the exterior lighting. So again, working with our engineers and our designers to make sure that everything is seamlessly integrated into this vehicle. Also, I want to touch on the cat skin leather seats. They're stitched in light tungsten colored stitch, and there's also a Jeep grill logo that we designed on the seat backs. So just another little cool touch there on the interior. As we move back in the vehicle, we also have a signature black fuel door that we offer from the Jeep Performance Parts, which is a cool little touch to give that customer just added differentiation from the standard product. The rear bumpers are also steel. So again, making sure that there's ultimate functionality in our accessories that we design. Out back, we also have a rear hinge reinforcement bracket, and that is used for the oversized tires and wheels. So you need something very substantial if you oversize your wheels and tires. So it's a really great way to accommodate your spare out back. Also, I want to point out we have a trail light that rounds off the exterior lighting. And this scouting lamp, I call it a scouting lamp, It illuminates in 3 different colors: red, amber, and green. Red indicating that the vehicle stopped on the trails, amber indicating that the vehicle's at a crawl, and green indicating that the vehicle's at a normal driving pace. So it's a kind of a cool element for a person that's up front in a trail that's leading the pack. They can easily indicate what the vehicle's doing on the trails. And lastly, one other cool thing we designed was a rear tail tray, a rear tailgate tray. And this is a really neat feature. You can strap items to it, emergency pack. You can do anything we want with it. You can use it as a table. You can use it as your mimosa drink holder. It's just a really cool device there. So with that, please come on up, take a closer look at the Nacho Jeep Wrangler, and I'll be here with Ariel to take any questions that you have.